James Ernest of the Grueling Truth Radio Network, here with Boston fan Alli Breen and stand-up comedian.
Hey there. Happy to be here.
So tell us how you got started, Alli.
I got started by mistake, kind of. I moved to New York. I was doing some writing for an advertising company.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I had to get a night job. I like theater. I started walking down Broadway, giving out resumes, thinking I could bartend at a theater, seeing some shows. And I just passed a resume to Caroline's comedy club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and ended up getting that job. And then I became obsessed with comedy. And then friends with some comics. And then I started comedy a few years later.
Is it a particular Caroline, or is that just the name of the...
No, it's Caroline Hirsch. She's like a
nice.
high society person in New York, and she had like a cabaret club back in the day.
Ooh.
When comics would go on like after all these burlesque acts and stuff, when comedy wasn't really a thing. And then all of a sudden the comedians started drawing the crowds, and she turned it into a comedy club. And apparently, I think she had some marriage to, I think Hirsch is her ex-husband's last name. He created, this is the story, I don't know if this is true, he created the technology that makes that stock ticker symbol go across, and made tons, like, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Crazy
she got a
good money.
big payment out from that, and now has this club, which has been successful.
Nice.
Yeah. So Caroline Hirsch.
So she helped you with your big start, it sounds like.
She did. I mean, she wasn't at the club that often, but she was around a little bit, and her club helped me immensely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I still play there. I love that club.
So where are you from?
From Boston, from Arlington, Mass. And then I went to high school in Chelmsford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So run into John Cena or any of them in Boston?
I wish. Never. Never, but I did have friends when I was younger, before, when Tom Brady was backing up Drew Bledsoe, that would see him there was a club called The Rack that like all these athletes would hang out at. No one knew who he was, and everyone would just be like, there's this guy who's really cute, and I don't think he ever plays, but I think a friend or two that claims they hooked up with him back in the day.
Oh, of course. Shoot, well now he's, world champion
Oh
and
my
married
God.
a supermodel. And...
Yeah, he's done okay.
So tell us your thoughts on the Boston Celtics.
It looks like they're shaping up to be a really good team. I was telling you earlier, I don't follow. I'm more Patriots and Red Sox.
Oh, cool.
I don't follow Celtics as much as I used to, but from everything I hear, it sounds like they're doing well. They're making huge trades and trying to put together a superstar team.
They're quite intense. I mean, just trading with their rivals who were in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics. The Cavs.
Yeah. Here's what I never understand too about Boston sports. And this, my theory is based on the Celtics. We're known as racists, Boston, because of sports, right? Because of, is it the Jackie Robinson thing?
A little bit the Jackie Robinson, a little bit Red Auerbach.
But Red Auerbach, that whole thing, didn't he
was best buddies with Bill Russell, so it kind of seems odd. But yeah, unfortunately, where we are in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, UK is famous for being racist as well because they played the first all-black team. We're saying with Boston.
We played the first five starters. Yeah, the first, I don't know if it was an all-black team, but the first five starters.
Starters all
right?
black. Yeah. So that's kind of how they get that reputation. It's not earned. Plus, let's be honest, the name of your coach was Adolf.
That's
a problem. So anytime you hear that name,
yeah, that just has followed Boston for so long, and I've never understood, because I know like the Jackie Robinson thing is atrocious, but I know a lot of teams passed on him, but I think maybe we were the last to integrate for the Sox. But anyways,
it happens.
It happens. Maybe we'll overcome it one of these days.
Definitely. So did you get out to the games much?
I actually went. The last game I went to was at Wrigley.
Oh, cool.
I saw your team play. I saw the Reds and the Cubs, which was great. So when I was a kid, we would go to Patriots games a lot because the old Foxborough Stadium was the worst. The team was terrible. People were giving away tickets left and right. So, and I hated it. It was like a high school stadium. You had to park so far away. It was freezing cold. We never won. But I would go a lot. And then we would go to the Celtics. My sister and I like going when they had like free giveaways. They'd have like the free hats or beach towels and that kind of stuff. And we'd sit in like nosebleed seats in the garden. And ever since that became TD Ameritrade, ever since the stadium's turned over, and Gillette Stadium, I've not gone to a single game.
Oh, that's
so it's been a long time.
Yeah. I was going to say, and getting to go to the gardens back in the day, that must have been just amazing.
Yeah, well, so, and this is another really old, we had a friend who was a buyer for the store Bradley's, which doesn't exist anymore either, but his family would get box seats for the Bruins games.
Nice.
So we would get to go sit in the press box for Bruins games, which was so much fun. Just once or twice, but that was great.
Still, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So out of those 4 sports, which one do you like the best?
Now I'd have to say, when I was growing up, I was much more of a Red Sox fan than anything else. And I'd like to go into games. Now they're a little long and boring for me, so I'd have to switch over to Patriots. Plus, their record is just so good. It's just so fun. It's so funny. People hate us so much that it's almost fun telling people I'm a Patriots fan.
Exactly. I mean, because, they're not projected to lose.
No.
I mean, the entire season, most people think going to run the table.
Yeah. Yeah, and people will not give Tom Brady credit for how good he is still.
Exactly.
It's like you still hear the cheater.
Yeah, I was going to say that does come up a lot because some of it's legit, some of it's not, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as a Boston fan, I think none of it's legit, of course, because every team does. I know they videotaped and they shouldn't have, but every team has someone watching.
Yeah, exactly. Taking notes.
Yeah, which is the same, essentially.
It's very similar.
It's a less modern version of what they were doing.
Exactly.
They were just smarter.
It's like here in Cincinnati. A lot of the training camp totally go down. Everybody can watch practice. And then they get closer to the season, and then you no longer can go to training camp. Well, then the Bengals have like bushes and shrubs all around the place to try to block.
So funny.
So yeah, you can stand on the bridge and still see, but then of course their security sees you on the bridge and
kicks you
off. Not that that's happened.
But a lot of that stuff, although it does give a tiny bit of an edge, and like the deflated vibe, that was ridiculous.
That was weird. Yeah.
So strange. But all that stuff, even if you take that away, you still have to admit he's
he's amazing.
And only getting better with age, which is
that is the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason why I truly do believe he might actually be the first deal with the devil that actually worked. Because
he's too nice of a guy. You're like,
most of the time it kind of bounces back on you. You have that what is that? Tales from the Crypt, where you wish to be rich and famous, and you're famous because you won the lottery and died or something.
Yeah, something works against you.
No, he worded his correctly. He's like, I want to marry a supermodel. I want to win a bunch of Super Bowl championships. I'm like, I can't blame him. But no, I have heard that too, that he's a really nice fellow and does a lot of charity work. So that's
and it's funny, every time they show when he's in the Super Bowl all the time now, they always have the full day of coverage, and they always show these old interviews when he talks about being drafted.
Yeah.
And he was drafted really late.
6th round, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he starts crying. They always show the same interview because they ask, why are you getting emotional? And he said, I didn't want to disappoint my dad. Yeah. I felt so bad that I might. And it's, everything about him is so lovely. That's
exactly.
Why it's funny he's so hated.
But that's the problem. Once you win so much,
oh God,
everyone's going to hate you.
Yeah. And once you're married to a supermodel,
that too. Yeah, I was going to say, you got the envy there, and then, you got the other 31 teams that are upset that you don't play for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny? I actually bet, and I can't remember the year now, I bet a friend of mine, the year before the Patriots went 16-0, they were so good, and my stepdad had been a bookie from back in the day, and he had said, he was like, this team's so good that at some point they could go 16-0. I bet my friend that, because everyone's like, no, that's never happened, except for the Dolphins from way back. But I was like, no, I'll bet it. I bet it the year before it happened. Of course, I lost. And then it happened the next year.
What was the bet? Anything good?
It was like $100.
Okay, so nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I didn't have to do anything awful.
Okay, so it wasn't you had to cook him breakfast or something.
No, that would have been his loss, actually. I'm a terrible cook.
Let's see. So tell us about your website.
So my website actually has to be rebuilt. It's a little old, but it just focuses on my comedy pretty much and my dates. Yeah, the main point of it is for tour dates for people to see coming up.
Oh, tour dates. Okay.
Exactly. And then I have clips, of course, of stuff that I've done. And I had a web series that I did with a friend that was all on there. But I have to rebuild it. And actually, I'm starting another web series. So I'll have that on my new website, which will be coming up.
Is it secretive, or is there any hints we can give about the new web series?
No, it's not secretive. It's just not even, it's written but not filmed yet, but it should be in a month or two. But it's called Broken Up. and it's an ex-boyfriend and me that are doing a podcast on semi-autobiographical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a terrible breakup that we had in like the aftermath of it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
Should
pretty
be
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe therapeutic.
Definitely. So you're from Boston, but I hear that you live in LA some?
I do, because I lived in LA for a while, so I still go back and forth fairly often. And especially coming up in the winter, I'll be there much more.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I was
I
going
lived.
to say, I've seen the news, and Boston does not look like the place to be in the
Oh,
wintertime.
oh, it's the worst. I don't know why. It's so much colder than New York, even. It just is
Yeah, it
brutal.
Yeah, because
But
they're both right up that way, yeah.
yeah, it's so close to. Yeah, that's like Chicago. I don't know why Chicago's so much colder than everywhere else. I guess right on the water.
Yeah, exactly, in the wind. Same with, like, I'm sure when you're up at Cleveland.
Ugh,
Because, yeah, you get to travel. You've probably
a
been,
lot.
I mean, everywhere in the United States. Where do you go overseas?
I've done a few military tours, so I've gone to some really odd places. I've gone to the Middle East, where, some of it was so much more beautiful than I expected, and some of it was like tent cities, and a base. But yeah, I went to Egypt, Turkey, Jordan, and then a lot of Europe, Eastern Europe,
Nice.
Romania, Bulgaria.
And I'm sure the troops are very happy to see you.
They're great. Yeah, they're so
Appreciative.
appreciative.
Yeah.
They're so much fun to perform for. And actually, the beautiful places we go, like there's a big base in Ramstein,
Yeah.
Germany. They get so much entertainment
Exactly.
that it's still fun to go.
Yeah.
But when you go to these 10 cities and like
It
Jordan,
means more to 'em.
Yeah, because no one's going out there.
Exactly. Yeah, because, I mean, shoot, if it, like you said, I mean, someplace beautiful like that. You're stationed in, one of my buddies was in Hawaii. And, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone is okay to come over to Hawaii, but
Yeah.
not everybody's willing to take that extra step and go to the war zones and all.
Yeah, exactly true. Because when we were in Ramstein, I think like Scarlett Johansson had just been there. I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had
Oh,
just gone
wow.
out there. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Which was funny. I think I had asked. I was like, "What does he do? Do you guys make him like shoot baskets?"
Yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said he just goes and takes pictures and autographs.
Cool. Okay,
and,
that makes sense. Because I'm like, he doesn't even play
Yeah, he's
anymore.
so much older.
Yeah. Does he reminisce about Leslie Nielsen movies? I mean, that's about all I can
Exactly.
figure. Yeah.
So it's not as exciting. A bunch of comics show up and they're like, "Cool," but we just saw Scarlett Johansson
Yeah.
and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But you go to a tent city and they're like, "We haven't seen anybody in like 5
Exactly.
months," so they get so excited.
That is cool.
Yeah, which is nice.
So I hear you're a big surfer.
I love surfing, and so that's why I like going back to LA so much. And when I lived in LA, I lived in downtown LA. Before the football team moved
Yeah.
there. But Clippers, when I moved there, were horrible. So you could get tickets for them for like $5
Nice.
on the street. So I went to a couple of Clippers games. Now I think they're much harder to get, I would imagine.
Yeah, they've gotten better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, now they're getting worse again, but they got really good there for a while. But
Yeah.
now they just got rid of Chris Paul and a couple other guys.
Who was what's his name? Griffin?
Blake Griffin, yes.
Blake Griffin. I met him in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
He was doing comedy out
Oh.
there. He was hosting a gala.
Yeah, he does some odd things on the side. He's an interesting character.
He is, once again, so gracious and
Yeah.
nice because he was getting attacked by fans.
Oh, I can
Everyone
imagine,
wanted
yeah.
photos and autographs. But yeah, he was out there doing comedy.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, surfing is great. I started just a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. So I'm not great at it, but I love it so much. And I would go with friends, mostly comics who surf. There's a few that are big surfers. I've never surfed with him, but Daniel Tosh is a big
I've
surfer.
heard that about
yeah.
him, yeah.
He likes to go by himself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny in his persona.
Oh, yeah, he just seems
It
like a
makes
loner
sense.
sort, yeah.
But some other guys, Lachlan Patterson, I don't know if these guys, they travel a little bit, but Murray Valeriano, Tim Lee, there's a bunch of surfers
Yeah.
that are comics that are so much fun to go out with.
Well, that's cool.
And they're really great because they're so much better than I am, but they're so supportive. Big wave will be. They're like, "You can get that. Come on,
Yeah.
go left." So it's fun.
That's cool, yeah.
Very meditational too. You're kind of out in the water. There's nothing but nature. You're just waiting for waves most of the time, so it's calm. And then when you catch a good one, it just feels so amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. And I love watching surfing too. That's a favorite sport to watch. Surfing and tennis are two of my favorites.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are two that are on the list of trying to get more better coverage for us. Because like we did with, because we're mostly football, boxing, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Big day tomorrow.
And, yeah, so we're doing those kind of things. And I keep trying to bring in the other sports, the bull riding, the volleyball. Actually, my favorite one is goalball.
Goalball?
Goalball.
Oh,
like goal and then a ball. Yeah, like
what is that?
Basically, it sounds like if someone's mom's like just making up names for a sport because they can't remember the name of sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for blind people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And where the lines are on the court, they actually have like a little metal underneath so you can kind of feel where you are on the court. And it's the goal is as long as a volleyball court, because you basically play on a volleyball court. But you have to kind of more chuck or roll the ball like at an angle. It's crazy. It's worth looking up.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a different game.
Yeah, that sounds incredible.
Yeah. So
there was a really good movie called Murder Ball.
Yes, and that is rugby for wheelchair.
Yeah, that was another
had them
crazy.
On their Team USA's James Gumbert is their coach. Really nice guy. You had a couple of their players on. Yeah, it is. It's neat getting to cover those
odd sports.
Yeah,
that stuff sounds really fun.
Yeah,
actually.
that movie's intense.
Yeah.
And it is right. I mean, that game is just so.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, regular rugby is pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
And then add in some metal chairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it baffles sometimes, but they love it. I mean, the ones that play those sports are just so passionate and intense about sports.
Yeah.
That it's the most important thing to them. And a lot of times those sports were created to like rehab different injuries. So.
Oh, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And probably just for fun. I mean, it's so hard
to find. Well, that's what they play nowadays. But I mean, originally,
that was the intent, was just for injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the goalball was with World War II veterans that had lost their sight. So it was something
helping to teach them.
Yeah, because the ball has do you have any pets?
Family pets, but I don't have any of my own.
Like any of them cats?
Yes.
You know that ball that the cat has that has a bell in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bigger version of that, basically.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So
I actually went to a water polo game when I was younger. It was a Harvard game, and those people try to drown each other.
They do.
They literally try to drown each other. It's another really fun sport to watch that I'm surprised more people don't get into.
Exactly.
You're watching people try to kill each other.
Yeah, it doesn't get more intense than that.
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
and then for the more perverted side, besides murder, because you have that with the guys, and actually it probably just happens some with the guys as well. The other team will try to remove each other's bathing suits just so you will stop and try to fix yourself, wardrobe malfunctions, just to get the advantage.
That's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, hey, that's out, and then you throw the ball, and like, what?
People probably get to the point where they don't care. They're like, all right, my boobs are out, and I'm playing. I don't care.
Yeah, that kind of thing, because it just, because it becomes so old hat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing about surfing, too. I always surf with a wetsuit, but there are people who surf in trunks and bikinis that I don't I fall so much that my bikini would not be on by the end of the day. It's not possible.
I know what you mean, because and even if you don't fall off, just how the water hits you different. Yeah,
and it hurts. You're lying, your board is waxed so that you don't slip off it, and it hurt. You can get I did see one time though, I was surfing. It's mostly guys out there, obviously, and then most of the girls are in wetsuits. But one time there was this girl, and she wasn't just in a bikini, she was in like a thong bikini.
Oh my.
So you could just see her butt, bouncing up and down, and like slowly throughout the day, you saw all the surfers just migrating towards that one girl. And she was actually a really good surfer. I remember thinking at first, like, oh, I wonder if this is just an attention grab.
Yeah.
She could go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was my thought too. I was like, well, shoot, she can use that as a way to get lessons for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honest, everyone's wanting to talk to her for some reason. We can't.
Couldn't figure out why everyone was migrating in that direction.
She's very popular. So, do you play the tennis at all?
Yes, I love it. So that's one. Now that I'm mostly in New York. Although it's still not easy to find court time in New York, you can find it.
Oh, nice.
So I'll play up by Columbia College a lot in Central Park, and I love it. That's one of my favorite games to play. I played in high school, but I never got past that level. Mm-hmm. But I've continued. I've dropped off for a couple years at a time before, but it's a great game. You can pick it back up and
Exactly.
always get better. And it's not hard on your body, you know, the way that I play it, at least. People who played a lot, you know, better,
I know what you mean, yeah.
probably have the knee
Yeah, that was
things
one of
or
the things my elementary gym teacher was always telling us, that this is a sport you can play your entire
forever.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great because I never got into golf. So tennis will be the sport. Tennis and chess. I don't know if you guys consider that
cool.
a sport, but I know. It's under that
It's a
category.
competitive game, yeah, so it kind of counts. Yeah, so that's cool.
But tennis is great, and it is one that I love. I love watching it, you know, and they'll have like the U.S. Open in New York that you can go and spend the day.
That is amazing.
It's so much fun. You just walk around and you can get cocktails and watch tournaments and, you know, there's a bunch of different courts going on at once. So it's a lot of fun.
And you got the Williams sisters.
Unbelievable.
Oh, they are just amazing.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good. I actually, too, I don't know if this happened, but when I was a kid in the Bahamas with my family, we saw these two, you know, we would play tennis, and we saw these two little black girls killing it on the court. Just and to this day, I'm like, that had to have been the Williams sisters. There were no little black girls who played like that at that point.
Exactly.
You know?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so, but I read have you ever read their father's book?
I have not.
He's insane. And apparently he made them start like in Compton and, you know, have people yell racial epithets at them and like, so I don't know if you ever took them to the Bahamas. That might not
it doesn't seem like somewhere he would take them. Yeah.
I know. Unless it's winter and they have to train somewhere. But to this day, I still think that
that still seems like if you're... Yeah, wow.
I know. But yeah, they are unbelievable.
They are.
But his story's crazy, too, because he decided before he had them... Before his wife even got pregnant, he said, I'm going to have girls. They're going to play tennis. They're going to win championships.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he made it happen.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
And not only that, but the physicality of those. How could you predict? They're so big. I mean, they're all muscle.
Well, because he probably, when they were little, working them out.
Put some hormones and put them in the gym. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what, that was my plan for my little guy, was to start at a young age, trying to get him doing the weightlifting and all that stuff.
So what sport would you have him play?
Now, probably the golf or something like that. Somewhere you can't get hurt, not just because of all the concussion stuff come out, but my little guy, he's got Eagle-Barrett syndrome, so he's got no tummy muscles.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he's got a hole in his hip for metrophenol, so his mom won't let him do much anything sport-wise. I mean, he plays like basketball with the other kids, but that's because the basketball they play is so non.
Yeah, it's not invasive.
Yeah, same with what was the other one? He did baseball, and it was so non-competitive. It was his team and the other team. They don't play against each other; they play with each other, because it was an older team that plays the other half. So like half his team is batting, the other half is fielding with the older team, and then they switch it up. And then at the third inning, or the third time around, they have his whole team bats. So they get to bat twice, and then the other team doesn't bat at all. They just,
oh my God.
Yeah, they just help them out. Yeah.
Things have changed so much when we were kids, because we used to play like dodgeball where we'd try to kill each other. There was no take into account anything.
No, they would have, they like, hey, you're the weak kid, let's throw the
other two. Pelt him with balls until he has to go home.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so nice that...
Oh yeah, they have definitely changed things so much nowadays.
Yeah, I have a little brother that went to Montessori schools, and all the sports were like that there too. It was because we would try to play I would try to play basketball with him sometimes, and it would just like even pig or horse, those games. And he's like, I don't want to play for points. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And it's good. It's good that that's how kids can grow up now, but it was so different.
But yeah, shoot. So I hear your favorite show to be on in the mornings. Tell us a little bit about it.
Bob and Tom. I love that show so much. It's fun. I used to come out and do it just when I had gigs, and I'd be in studio. And we got along great, and then they'd asked me to do this call-in segment once a week, which started out just kind of me talking about myself, and then it was always relationship-based. So we started having people send me letters asking advice, and now I do this Dear Alli segment where I'll answer people's letters. And it's really fun because we'll always discuss everyone's problems, and everyone has a very unique... everyone has a very unique issue. And then all of the Bob and Tom staff have very unique answers for how they would solve them. So, but that crew is so much fun. I love them, and I think Chick is so funny. He's one of my favorites, whether it's sports or just regular stuff. I think he's great. Christy's the sweetest. Josh is just so personable, and Tom is absolutely Tom. He is. You get what you see, and it's.
So he really is all about the dogs.
Yeah, and his family has so many kids. He's such like a family guy. I don't know how he has the energy.
Yeah, the time to do any of that.
Oh God.
What's it, 7, 8, something like that nowadays?
I think he has 7, and I think the youngest is 3.
Yeah, he's got the little girl, right?
Yeah, the little girl who he just dotes over. He loves her so much.
Cool.
And the last time I was in studio, just yesterday, was with Miss Pat.
Oh, nice.
Do you know her at all from Indianapolis?
I don't know her. I mean, I know her from the show, but
okay.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, because sometimes Christy's not on, so they have her. Is she?
No, that's Pat Carlini, I think, that you're talking about. A news person. Miss Pat is. She just came out with a book. She is a girl who started drug dealing at 9 years old.
The black lady.
Oh, has she stepped in for Christy Lee?
Yeah, she subbed in.
Oh, that had to be amazing.
Yeah, because her and Tom, just how they play off each other because they're so different.
Opposite.
Yeah, and then she sexually harasses him a little bit, which is awesome.
It's the funniest thing.
He gets so awkward about it.
He's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, because she will just be saying things that,
Yesterday, he asked her if she could swim yesterday, and we were cringing. We were like, oh God, is this about to get really racist? Are we going to get thrown off the air? And then she came right back with she's like, I can't swim, but I'll float you, Tom. I'm going to float you in 4 feet of water. I'm going to float you.
Exactly.
Oh, priceless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's awesome. I remember hearing her on the show from time to time.
Yeah, so I think she's about to get pretty big. She just came out with a book. So
nice.
We did the show together yesterday, and that crew is my favorite, though. I love them. Yeah, Tom, Josh, Christy, and Chick. They're the best.
Unfortunately, Bob's no longer with the show.
Yeah, I think he just, retired and wants to travel and do fun things. And, he comes back occasionally, I think, for some events.
Yeah.
But
like their Bahama thing?
Yes.
Oh, that's got to be amazing. Have you got to do that?
No, I've never done that. I know. We'll see. Maybe this year. That would be so much fun.
Definitely. Yeah,
but I knew he goes back for the Indy when they cover the races and stuff. He'll come back in. So that
because he's a big sports fan and all. I remember him with his Dodger hat. And,
a huge sports fan. And then the other, so I'm their East Coast correspondent.
Oh, cool.
And then Al Jackson is their West Coast correspondent.
Oh, nice.
And they just sent out to Vegas to cover the fight for tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal.
So that's a great deal, exactly.
So tell us how much you hate that fight.
Oh, God. I'm the only one who thinks, because I don't pay that much attention to fighting, I'm the only one who thinks that there's a chance that Mayweather might lose.
Yeah.
Because it's so skewed. Everyone's so sure that he's going to win. And it feels like the election where everyone was so sure that Hillary's going to win and no one paid any attention to the other side. And then stealthily it just crept up.
Exactly. And if Mayweather loses, then they can do a rematch and they can get another $400 million or whatever the heck they got for this. And then, of course, if Mayweather wins the second one, well, that's a tie. So we got to do a tiebreaker. So that's 3 times of getting $400 million or $600 million or however $100 million. So you can either do it once, or we can do this 3 times. I think I'm okay with 3 times if I was them. Yeah.
Does Mayweather actually need the money?
He does. Yeah.
Because he just spends so much.
Yes and no. Yeah. He doesn't need it because he's had so much, but he apparently owes the government $25 million in taxes.
Oh.
Yeah. And then all his money is tied up in things.
Yeah, he has more stuff than I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, just the amount of cars and furs and you name it. Houses, exactly.
I will never understand. That's why he's an unlikable guy. I mean, the history of the women.
He's one of the worst.
He's one of the worst. That's why I'm hoping that he might lose.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that McGregor is also an arrogant cuss, but by comparison, Mayweather is just so much more that McGregor looks like the quiet, nice, naive guy.
The sweetheart.
He's the sweetheart, and nobody else on the planet I think could make McGregor that, but Mayweather definitely can accomplish that because he is just so
arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, McGregor is too. But I think also because he doesn't have the hundreds of millions, and he doesn't have the 12-year reputation.
Exactly.
That he's new to the scene, that he's a little more likable.
And he'll come on and he'll insult his opponents, but he doesn't insult other people. He just insults who he's fighting to hype up the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Where Mayweather just kind of seems like he probably insults everybody. And then I think he actually believes he beat the Big Show. In wrestling, they had this fellow, Paul White, who's 7 foot tall, was at one point kayfabe the son of Andre the Giant, which he's not really, but pretends to be.
Okay.
And so he fought Mayweather.
Okay.
There's no way this Mayweather would have a chance against this fella. He's 7 foot tall, 500 pounds.
So it was like a fixed fight. Yeah, it was a pretend play.
Yeah, it was on the show and all.
Oh, that's so funny. But in his mind, he's
he's like, I got this, and we're like, no, you wouldn't. He would break you in half, literally, like an ogre on those cartoon shows.
Yes.
Suck out your bone marrow. He is.
Throw you.
Yeah,
over.
There's no way you could beat him, or anybody could. I mean, he's just.
Oh, I want to see him lose so badly.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah. You know, the wrestling thing, too, is interesting. There's a lot of wrestlers who've started doing comedy.
Yeah.
You see
Mick
that?
Foley.
Yep, Mick Foley. Mick Foley's gotten really good.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam I've done shows with in New York. And then, of course, Roddy Piper, who I know sadly passed away. But
that is a shame.
Yeah, he was getting. I mean, it's more with those guys. It becomes more of like a one-man show.
Exactly.
They're telling stories.
Yeah, because he's just so dang funny naturally. Piper.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He was so good.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I never got to see that.
Yeah, and talk about the opposite of like a Mayweather type. He was so humble and sweet and like kind to the people around him. And,
yeah, he came from nowhere. And
yeah.
I mean, he had been in the sport for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, too, that our president is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yes, that is another odd one. Yeah. Fortunately, I mean, it's mostly for the fact that he owned one of the venues that they claim that he hosted it at, and then he was a neighbor to the other venue. Because, like, one of the years or 2 of the years, they were in Trump Hotel. Then another year, they were in a place next to Trump Hotel, but they still said they were from Trump Hotel because... to advertise for his boy. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, just to have him on the show. And then, of course, later on, they did the hair versus hair match.
Okay.
Which is one of my goals one of these days, because I do some promoting when I'm not doing this. And I was in talks with Kid Chris's people, but he chickened out because he was afraid he was going to lose his hair. And I'm like, dude, it's fixed. We know you're
going to be fine.
You're going to win. We're going to let you win the event.
I would get nervous, too, though, because once you're in the ring with a big guy, and you're like, maybe they told me it was fixed, but they didn't tell him it was fixed.
Oh, no. Me and him weren't going to be the wrestlers. We were going to, like, I pick a horse, you pick a horse.
Gotcha.
And, we know my horse is going to lose. They're going to just shave my head after the show because they do a show on Mondays. And so we'll have, I'll just come on your show the next day and you can shave my head on the air, that kind of thing.
And he still said no.
He's like, nah. He's like, just in case y'all were just planning on messing with me. And I'm like, actually, you know what? Now that you bring it up, that ain't a bad idea.
I know, that's so funny to tell someone, you're going to be fine. And then
this is the script. See, you're winning. And
it's an extra script in your back pocket.
Exactly. And then we end up winning and it would be on the news that, he's not honoring his thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then that would make him look like a schmuck. So, yeah, it'd be crazy. But yeah, you worked with Rob Van Dam.
That's exactly Rob Van Dam.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And he still does. That's a big cheer that he gets when he goes on and does that move.
Yeah. So on a scale from 1 to Chong, how often or how much was he?
I don't think I really saw his set actually.
Oh no. I meant when you got to talk to him. How in the moment was he?
Oh.
How sober was he at all?
Is he a big drinker?
Oh no, he's high as heck.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He at one point he had like 2 world title belts, and they took both of them away because of him and this other fella. Love to smoke. Like I think he was in High Times magazine and all those kind of things.
Oh, so he's very open about it.
Yeah, he's openly weed smoker.
I wonder because I don't follow wrestling that much.
Oh, he is just totally
because I think I was talking to his manager at the bar before he went on, and I got the whole story. But he came out and he took pictures with fans, and he actually talked to a bunch of us afterwards. Oh, cool. But they were going out on the town big time. I didn't go out with them. Yeah, they were definitely going out to party.
Yeah, to try to keep up with them.
But I don't know if he was high yet, because that's like an 8 o'clock show we were doing, so it might have been before he really He seemed sober to me, but I
That's
don't.
cool and good for him.
I don't know if I can tell.
I'm happy to hear that he would be sober during the show because I know he wasn't always.
Yeah. And people they think they'll perform better if they start getting wasted or high, and a lot of times that doesn't work out.
Nah, because then you get too much, and you got to find that right mix. But
So one to Chong, that's funny.
Oh yeah, he is just. Yeah, there's a couple of them, and some of it makes sense. Because they are literally in so much physical pain.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, getting dropped on your head, your neck.
Yep.
He did probably the best move all time. He got on the turnbuckle. Like, you ever watch wrestling at all?
I do sometimes.
Okay, so then he gets on the turnbuckle and does like a double flip into like the third row where Bam Bam Bigelow was sitting, and Bam Bam caught him, thank God. Because that's the part about it that you're like... you and your dance partner have to be perfect together.
Oh, God.
Yeah, seriously, there were so many ways he could have killed himself on the move. Oh, yeah, he's an interesting fella.
I think I saw a video of Mick Foley one time where he was supposed to do a jump and he landed outside of the ring on his neck or something.
He's done that. Oh, gosh, Mick Foley's broken everything. Literally everything.
Those guys are crazy.
They are. Yeah, he fell off. They had the Hell in a Cell that he's most famous for. Falls off like a 3-story cage.
That must
through
have been
the table, and then later in the match,
table.
he gets thrown through the cage into the ring, which probably hurt him more. So yeah, his stories are just the best.
There's supposed to be a really good show on Netflix called Glow about female
the women wrestlers.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but that's supposed
I'm looking
to be great.
forward to checking that out. I haven't got to check that out either, but yeah, that's semi-historical because that's the real thing. I mean, they used to do that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's neat. But what other comedians do you work with?
So I worked with Jim Norton for a long time.
Oh, nice.
I was opening for him, which was really fun. This guy, Brian Scalaro, who was on a show called Stacked with Pam Anderson a while ago.
Yeah, I remember him when he said Scalaro. I was like,
yeah, he's touring and doing a lot of comedy now. I've been headlining a bunch of shows myself, which has been fun. And then in New York, you kind of end up working. It's a lot more showcase shows.
Yeah.
So you end up with on shows with all kinds of Jeanine Garofalo will be on,
cool.
which is fun.
Yeah.
Dave Attell, who I love, Colin Quinn, a bunch of these guys, and then you get a lot of drop-ins.
Yeah.
Like Seinfeld will drop in.
Oh wow.
Kevin Hart does a lot of drop-ins, which is really fun because you'll be like last time I was at this club, Greenwich Village Comedy Club, which is a really small basement club. Maybe seats 80 people.
Oh my gosh.
And TJ Miller just dropped by, who's like Silicon Valley, the Emoji Movie, all those kind of things. So you end up working kind of with everybody. This girl Tiffany Haddish, who just did that movie Road Trip. Anytime anyone's in New York, they kind of do the club rounds. So if you're on a show, especially if you're hosting, places like Gotham and the Cellar are the big drop-in rooms. Probably the Stand a little bit. But, my friend was just hosting a new talent night, so there's no real name comics on the lineup. And then Jim Gaffigan stopped by, and Jerry Seinfeld stopped by.
Oh, my.
So this tiny crowd that's watching, newcomers all of a sudden get to see these huge guys.
So, basically, in other words, if you're in New York or L.A. or the main places with comedy, and you go, oh, well, that's probably not that good of a show, don't automatically assume what's on the bill is what you're going to get.
That's definitely true. And the big ones, especially the Comedy Sellers, the main one. One time, there was a show that, this was the drop-in list for the show. It was Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Amy Schumer, and I can't remember, Louis C.K. might have dropped by that same night, too. Because the New York Times literally reported it. They were like, this is like $1 billion lineup.
Exactly.
If anyone wanted to go get tickets to any of their big shows, and people just randomly went out one night and got all of these guys on one show.
Yeah, you could not... Wow.
It's incredible. Yeah. So New York, there's a real comedy boom going on right now, and whoever's around, if they're working on stuff, Chappelle is doing shows at Radio City Music Hall right now.
Actually, he's not too far from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say he's about an hour and a half somewhere around here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because he bought a farm in Ohio.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, because that's when he just said,
needs to
heck
get
with
away.
it. Yeah, he's like, I need to get out of this. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Because when he's doing shows in New York, and Chris Rock is the other guy too, they'll hit every club trying to work out their material before they do their big show. So
yeah, I was gonna say we don't have that in sports. We don't have where you go to the tennis tournament and all of a sudden Pete Sampras comes back and plays.
What's up? I'm gonna just play a match, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have that. Yeah.
One time, a long time ago, I went to a Knicks game,
Yeah.
and I had a friend who could get courtside seats,
Oh, nice.
which was amazing. So I was a few, like 3 rows back, and Chris Rock was sitting like right courtside, right in front of me. And it was right around Christmas time, and he was going to be headlining Madison Square Garden on New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
And I remember thinking that, like, I can't imagine sitting in a stadium and watching your team play in a place that you're going to be doing
working,
comedy in a couple weeks.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So you see a lot of the big guys, and you'll end up, even as a new comic, you end up on shows with some of these huge names, which is cool. You're right. And no other... Not sports even, but just no other business.
Trying to think of, where Bill Gates is just going to show up.
Or Warren Buffett's just coming by a random bank one day.
Yeah. He's like, by the way, today I'm just going to set up a table here and give out free advice.
Exactly.
Like, no. That doesn't, wow, that is amazing.
And some comics, it's funny, if you have like a Jerry Seinfeld that stops by, he doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's he's in and out. He keeps to himself. But a guy like Jim Gaffigan will usually come into the green room and say, "Hi guys, just good luck to everybody," and he'll actually talk to people.
Yeah, he seems like a really nice fella.
Super nice.
That's
and like
cool.
Colin Quinn will talk to anyone about comedy for however long.
They will until
really
they kick him out. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because isn't he the one that's ain't he the Sarah Silverman guy? Where he like she dated him when they were both when she was young and he was old or something.
Oh, Gaffigan?
No, not Gaffigan. The other one said.
Who did
the MTV guy, Colin.
Oh, Colin Quinn?
Yeah. The way I understand it, like she was like just started comedy, and
maybe I didn't even know
like
that.
she kind of looked up to him, and there was a weird.
Oh, that's so funny.
Because when he said his name, it made me think of it.
I think everybody, because Sarah Silverman came up with a lot of those big guys, and from interviews, it seems like everybody had a crush on Sarah Silverman, and was trying. But I know she dated Dave Attell for a little while.
Okay, yeah.
And then Jimmy Kimmel eventually, but I didn't know Colin Quinn. That's
the way I've heard it. That when they were starting up, he had already been famous, because that happens a lot with the wrestling, where like the young ladies they come in and want to be wrestlers. Well, all of a sudden they're dating the world champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to happen. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, in comedy, that definitely is a thing. The newer comic dating the experienced comic, and he'll take her on the road. And
exactly.
And then a lot of times, unfortunately, she will just drop him when she makes a name for
exactly.
herself.
Yeah, she becomes famous, so
Yeah, she's like, I don't need you anymore. Well, even in New York, I do these Long Island clubs a lot. And I opened for this guy, Rich Voss, who's great, and he's been around.
Sounds familiar.
For a long time. Yeah, I think he was the first white comic on BET.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's great. He just got roasted, and I think that's coming out maybe on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be a fun one. But he was working. There's all these things going on Long Island now. Like there's a Adam Sandler movie shooting, and they shoot Kevin Can Wait, the new Kevin James show. So those guys will now stop by sometimes, and you get like a lot of Adam Sandler's relatives now. Like he has a nephew doing comedy that'll come by and
kind of like the Wayans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's like 50 of them.
Too.
Yeah.
There's a million of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, which one? You want to go see the Wayans tonight? No, tell me which one.
Yeah, there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah, if it's one of the good ones, yeah. If it's one of the sixth generation, we're like, no, we're good.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a bunch. Fifth generation Wayans floating around doing comedy that you'd never know.
Exactly.
Chris Rock has some relatives.
Yeah, because his brother, Tony's one of
them. And now there's another brother, little Jordan Rock is doing it too.
Yeah, I would like to see Tony sometime because he's always coming to town and something always comes up. Because I've heard his is actually pretty good.
He's funny. He's been around a long time. He's legit. He's not just going off his name.
Yeah, I was going to say, worst case scenario, like you said, going off the name, he can always pull a Charlie Murphy and tell stories. Yeah,
exactly.
Which is a shame Charlie's no longer with us.
I know. That came out of nowhere. I didn't know that was happening, that he was sick. But I think I was just talking to a friend of mine, comics lifespans.
Yeah, they're not that long.
No, I mean, it's an unhealthy lifestyle.
It is. Well, let's see. We're going to keep you up till whatever time in the morning. And then
you're going to do 6 a.m. radio.
Exactly.
And you're going to get on a plane and go do it again.
And you're going to drink and smoke and do all kinds of mean, nasty things. Exactly.
And then even without that, it's like when you're on the road and you're done at 1 a.m.
The
there's
time,
no good food open.
Exactly.
You eat a bunch of junk.
So that's why, what is it? The Waffle House. It's
Yeah.
always brought up by a lot of comedians.
Oh God, it's so good, and that's one of the healthier options too.
Exactly.
The worst is there's just the drive-through Mickey D's.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no Core Life open at that time of day.
Exactly.
Have you ever eaten there?
No, but it's supposed to be great.
Oh,
it's all
amazing.
health food.
Yeah, basically you walk through the line and they have like 6 different types of greens and 3 or 4 different types of grains, and you pick 2 between the 2, and then you pick like 4 vegetables, and you pick a protein, and you tell them either dip it in this machine and it turns into the soup. So like they put the broth and all on it too, but they cook it like it's a steamed thing. Or you have it as a salad. But either way, it's like insanely healthy. Like if you were trying to define what healthy is, there's no oils, there's no chemicals, there's no nothing on it. It's just literally those. Yeah.
Oh, I have high hopes, but I feel like a store like that'll go out of business because it's next to like a Chipotle and McDonald's, and you're like, I want to be healthy, but
exactly. And then the crazy part is Chipotle is the healthy one by comparison to a lot of those places.
I know, and I'm sure that's still the worst.
Oh yeah, it's probably not good for you, but it's got to be better than some of those things.
Yeah, well now they have all those weird like E. coli and
botulism.
Like I don't know what's going on with them.
I know what you mean. Yeah, because when I was in New York, they were going through that with Chipotle, and they had to cut certain meats. They had to cut the pork for a while there.
Oh, right.
And then they had to cut out the cilantro out of the rice. So yeah, it was just weird stuff.
Oh yikes!
So what stuff can we expect from you in the future?
So I have this web series that'll be coming out. And I still work with Fox. I was doing the show Red Eye for a while, but the show got canceled, unfortunately. But I still do like their radio shows and their Fox and Friends in the morning. So hopefully I'll continue doing more of that.
Nice. Oh yeah, I did see those. Yeah, those were neat.
Those were fun.
Yeah, because it was, they asked you something really. Oh, the Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah, right. I was out with Lou Dobbs for that one.
Yeah.
And I think I gave a little edgy answer. And and the show kind of lost their mind. It's so funny though that you can give an edgy answer at Fox, the station that's falling apart over everything that they're doing wrong. But I actually love working for them, and it's hard now to tell people sometimes. They hear that you work for Fox and they're automatically turned off because of the political state. But I'll definitely be doing more of that. I have this web series coming out. I will rebuild my website if people want to check that out. And then just touring.
So what is the website? What's the URL?
It's allibreen.com.
Excellent. Any Twitter or any of those type of things?
Yeah, absolutely. I am very active on Twitter and Instagram. It's just in my name. It's at Alli Breen.
Mm-hmm.
And then otherwise I'll tour. I'm pretty much out of the clubs at least 3 weeks a month, and then I'm in New York the rest of the time. So if anyone wants to come see a live show, I'm always out there.
So where are the next couple spots you're going to be at?
The next couple spots, I have shows in Montreal at the Comedy Nest coming up. I'll be in LA for a few days. Some New York shows, Long Island shows. And then I'm going to be in El Paso and Vegas right around Thanksgiving.
Earlier I mentioned why you hate this fight, and I was trying to set you up for Saturday night because obviously that's no offense to you.
Yeah,
but I'm imagining the crowd is not going to be there.
I don't know. I wish you the best. I do too. I'm so curious. So there's a big comedy festival going on in Cincinnati right now, and then the big fight on Saturday night. So Saturday might be just me eating pizza on stage with a few people, trying to get the periscope of the fight on our phones.
Exactly. You'll all just be like, "Yeah, come on up. We'll put it on the projector.
I'll tell a joke in between, and we'll just figure out." Yeah. No, I forgot that's going to really hurt the crowds. But I do think, hopefully, I know Go Bananas too draws a crowd that sometimes is
different. Yeah.
Is different, and maybe there's a few people who aren't that into it.
Exactly, and there'll still be people to show up. Obviously,
fingers crossed.
You'll be fine. I was gonna say it's not as bad as what happened with my arena team. We had an arena team in Kentucky, and unfortunately, UK was playing that night.
Oh.
Yeah, not a good math equation there.
Oh, that's the worst.
Same thing, I work with an MMA organization. We had a Bengals game going on. We had the UFC fight going on. Actually, one of the times we were up against the Ronda Rousey fight. And I'm like, come on, do we not know about this ahead of time, guys?
Exactly.
We need to not schedule against that.
Yeah, because you can schedule that, because it's not like, you know what happens with celebrities when they die. Like, I remember Farrah Fawcett died a couple years ago, and it was like one half a day of news because Michael Jackson died right after. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, because they do, like, unfortunately with celebrities, it seems they do the three-peat.
Yeah, totally. And whatever's the biggest one's wiping out everybody else.
Exactly.
Like, that just happened with Dick Gregory and that Jerry Lewis. Just trumped the. That just trumped that poor guy's legacy. But this stuff we can schedule.
Exactly.
But we'll see. I hope. Here's the thing too about the fight. Now, are they doing anything to stop people from periscoping or Instagramming it live?
They probably are somehow.
You think they can? Because I was going to say,
to some extent, like when you said the Instagramming, probably not that.
Yeah, because people can just do it in real time. Yeah. They have all those.
At the arena though.
Oh yeah, at the arena they probably must have.
Well,
but if you make people put away their phones, you're killing your own publicity. I mean, because that's part of how.
That is true.
I wonder what they'll do about that.
Yeah, because that is one of those weird scenarios that with my organization we deal with, because we're with Flow Combat now, one of those organizations where you can stream like all the fights in the world, basically. Like if you wanted to see somebody in Thailand fighting right now, you probably could, because
there's someone
or someone in Canada.
Yeah,
they got they got their league and they're doing that. But yeah, so like we're like we have to go through and tell people, hey, stop recording it. You can take a photo, no problem. Take a still shot, but don't.
Yeah, which they do at comedy shows too. So I guess you can monitor that way.
Exactly.
You can be like, hey, we don't mind the publicity if you post a photo, but you can't just film the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Because then they're making their own DVDs of it.
Exactly.
And all, shoot Alli Breen live DVD, and you're like, no, I owe that money to Netflix or Bob and Tom or somebody.
Yeah, I need that money.
Exactly. So, any final thoughts about your touring?
No, I do have to, like I said, rebuild my website and put some more time into it. But the touring's been super fun.
Cool.
And actually, since I was in Chicago and I saw a game at Wrigley's, I will actually incorporate a little more sports into touring.
Nice.
I tend to kind of sit in my hotel room and watch Netflix all day and then just go do shows. But it's so fun to get out there and see the local teams and see the local stadiums and do that kind of, touring as well.
So do we expect to see you on any shows or anything like that in the future?
I'm doing Greg Gutfeld's podcast coming up at the end of September for Fox. And otherwise, I'm on Laughs on Fox, which shows here and there. And I'll probably be doing Fox and Friends here and there in the mornings. And then always Bob and Tom on Wednesdays, if people want to hear that.
Sounds great, Alli. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Excellent. Did I hit the right button?